Welcome back, friends, fellow meat enthusiasts, to the Steak Wolf channel. We're always trying to up our meat cutting and cooking game and sharing our findings with you. Today, we're doing an old favorite of mine, beef smoked sausage. We're going to cut up this shoulder clod, which I happen to get on sale at $3.99 a pound. We're going to use that as our lean meat, probably discard some of this lesser quality fat, and we're going to add in some ribeye fat. If you followed this channel, you've probably seen me process quite a few ribeyes, and we always keep that excess fat for this reason right here. If we were making simply a delicious burger, you could do it in a food processor. You wouldn't need to get out the big equipment. But today, because we're going to be stuffing the sausage, we're getting out the grinder, we're getting out the stuffer. I'll provide links to the description of the equipment we're using below. Let's get into it. Open up our clod here. It's a 24-pound piece of meat. There will be some significant loss with fat, with silver. Small boning knife's good to start. Now, actually, they left the flat iron on here. I've done too many videos where I've broken down shoulder clods and done the flat iron, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I'm not going to waste it and grind it. We just got some delicious steaks out of that for $3.99 a pound. So I'm going to clean it up real quick and remove that first. Just getting under the silver. Try to waste as little as possible. Keep it clean. It's easier to clean up, I think, when it's still a whole piece rather than cutting it off and then removing it. But to each their own. Whole clod aside. Got this huge fat cap here. Mostly peels right off, but then you're going to have the silver to contend with. Once all that heavy fat is removed, get a good starting point under the silver. Usually just using the tip of the blade, grab a corner, get it open, get it started. Once you do that, you got enough to peel it back. Again, start using just the tip of the blade down the side. You're just trying to open it up so you get some room to really put some tension on it and try to take the silver off as clean as you can. So there's two delicious flat iron steaks. We have a dedicated video on a whole shoulder clod and also just on the flat iron. Check those out if you're interested. To the main clod. Again, you see the silver exposed right here. We're going to expose it all the way. Take some of this heavy fat right off the top. And there is some meat attached, so we will clean it up on another step. But we're just getting it opened up. Seam that runs right here. Kind of want to find that, run with it. Makes your life easier. Another seam here. I don't think you guys can hear it, but at this point I have to reference the Rottweiler in the room crying. It's kind of unignorable from here. She wants to be part of this. You'll get your time in the spotlight. Calm down. All right, so we're here down to the main clod. Taking off a lot of the heavy fat, seamed out some of the other pieces. This is actually a pretty intact looking piece of silver on the top here. I think it's important for new meat cutters to learn probably on a cheaper piece of meat like this before they say get into a tenderloin, something more delicate like that. to try to learn to take the silver off well. Doesn't always go according to plan, but this is a good piece to practice on. Pretty sure you guys heard that. Just running out of patience. So take the silver off, clean as you can. So you see how ugly this fat is. Shoulder clods are known for that. At a certain point, the fat seems like spongy. You can use it for sausage. If that's what you got, go with it. It's still going to come out good. You're running it through a grinder, breaking it down. But I'm doing this at home. I'm not selling it. I'm not worried about profit. I'm just trying to maximize on the texture here because I can. Lots of different cuts and cool things we could do. Not today. We want the meat for sausage. So actually, I'm starting to chop it up like I would for an industrial grinder, remembering that for this particular grinder, cutting it into strips feeds it better. So that's what we're going to do. Here's our lean meat, all extracted. I'm going to put this in the deep freezer, let it sit, let it get good and chilled before we run it through the grinder with our ribeye fat. Before I start grinding, I figure we'll hook this guy up a little bit. You good boy? You good boy? Get it. Oh yeah, I'm a good boy. So I'm just loading up my hopper with the lean and the fat. Good 80-20 ratio, roughly. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to be about right. Because we were pretty meticulous when we went through our lean and we know it's high quality fat, we just left a coarse blade on. I think that's going to make a nice texture. If you like a finer texture, you can run it through twice or use a finer blade, depending on what you want. Let's just kick this on and get it going. So we're all ground here. It's going to go back in the freezer for a couple minutes. I'll take that time to clean my grinder, and then we'll set up the table to mix in all our seasonings, and I'll go over that with you. Look at this guy. It's a little bit pathetic. He's pouting because he can't have any more beef right now. Poor guy. He'll be all right. He'll get more later. I think he knows it. So we ended up with a 15-pound batch. Again, it's about 80-20 lean to fat ratio. You can play with that if you want, going one way or the other. But as you go leaner, yeah, it gets healthier, but it also gets drier. So keep that in mind. We're going to put in the description the exact quantities of all the seasonings, but right now I'm just going to go over the seasonings real quick. Got paprika and dried milk, black pepper, white pepper, oregano, garlic powder, red pepper flakes, onion powder, cayenne pepper, Instacure #1, kosher salt, and then what you don't see because we buried it by accident is some dry mustard. I like to get it mixing before you even get started. For a batch this size, you're going to end up with somewhere around 3.5 cups of water, because this is a lot of seasoning, especially if you factor in the dried milk. I could smell that from here. It smells good. It smells how beef smoked sausage should smell, in my opinion. Not smoked yet, of course. This is going to be a little bit cold. Good and mixed. Going in the stuffer. Got a bunch of casings in warm water. Just regular natural hog casings. You get it started a little bit and it'll slide on much easier. You don't want to overstuff them, but you don't want to leave a lot of room either. So you use a little pressure with your fingers there to keep it full. And I'm controlling the speed with the hand crank here. Could go a lot faster. But for the first one, let's be cautious. And you leave yourself enough room on the end to tie, because you don't want to waste any casings. So there we have it. And I'm probably going to stuff it all, then link it, but just to show you. I'm thinking I'd link about this size here, probably roughly 1/4 pound. Left ourselves enough space to twist them so we can hang them to smoke them. That's a lot of sausage. I know I can't fit that much in my smoker. So it's actually giving me an idea. I'm going to do a little experiment. We're going to smoke what we can, but then I'm also just separately going to grill some and see which is better. And to make it a truly fair test, it's good enough to eat right out of the smoker. It's better if you crisp it up on the grill after it's smoked. So we're going to do that and compare it to no smoke flavor added. We got the smoker preheated to 200 degrees. We're going to raise this to about 160 internal, then it's done. Got them loaded in the smoker as much as we could. We're going to go ahead and let those cook for a few hours. So here we are. Smoked sausage finally done. This is the one that was in the smoker that got to temp that way. Got hit with the applewood wood chips, good and smoked. This is the one that was just right on the grill after the seasoning and cure was put in. And then this right here was what was left in the hopper that didn't quite fit into a casing because there wasn't enough to push it. So I made like a burger patty out of it and made a little burger out of it. So we're going to see how they all are. I'm going to start with the one that wasn't smoked. So this is just grilled, seasoned and cured. So it's got nice coloration. Nice texture. Nice flavor. Oh yeah. Way better than any sausage you get at a retailer, in my opinion. I can't wait to try this. Why mess around? Let's get right to it. Yeah, look at that. That looks good. And then with the smoke, a new denser level of flavor. That's how a smoked sausage should taste, in my opinion. It's not like when you go to the store and you pick one off the shelf. Something about the texture is weak. Something about the flavor is weak. I'm not saying it's overpowered. It's very balanced. It's just so much more fulfilling. Nothing beats that. If you have the means, follow along, make this recipe. It is outstanding. All right, this might be a little silly, but let's go. Here's our cured beef sausage burger. Not gonna believe it. That's pretty awesome. That is very good. I wouldn't be disappointed with any one of those things. You could serve me any one of those things, and I say out of this world. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification bell to see what we do next, and most importantly, plant-based meat is poison. Get the shirt in our store. Thanks a lot, guys. Those are good dogs. Those are good dogs. Good dogs.